Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Right. I suspect we may suffer a little bit from next door. Hopefully not. There's nothing I can do about it. I quite like my change to shape keys. So we'll not bother doing it tonight. Because we want to pass this out to these two lovely people behind you. If you want more, which I'm sure some people will, after this event, they have got CDs on sale. I shall remind you of that at the end of the event. We'll have a little chat at the end after they finish playing generally from a Fairlight lifeboat. Inshore.
They don't talk to the Fairlight lifeboat people.
If you're drowning, who would care? I wouldn't care to say that. Anyway, let's hear some.
Yes!
We'll start off with this another song written by Mike O'Connor, and I'll try and remember the words this time. And Mike, as I said, lives down in Cornwall. He did a lot of research about some of the things that happened in Cornwall. And in the 1800s, mid-1800s, a lot of the mines, the tin mines and the copper mines closed down and blokes were out of work, so a whole load of them emigrated to Australia and set up their own mining businesses in South Australia on the west coast, and this is a song right about that. It's called Shining Down on Sennan. Sennan being one of the most beautiful of the coves in Cornwall, and it's really about a bloke who's thinking back on his homeland. And you'll see how, joining on some of it, you'll see how it goes. In Wallaroo it's mighty fine, in Moonta and Kadina, and they remind me of the time when first I was a streamer, and when at night my eyelids close, my mind to far-off places goes. The Southern Cross its soft light glows when shining down on Sennan. Underground it's just the same as Crofty or Sullivan. The dust, the dark, the flickering flame, it could just be a legend. We hear the same old songs again, the tunes, the tales, the family names. The stars hear nightingales' refrains when shining down on Sennan. Christmas is the bravest time, we'll drink a pint of tawny, and Fiddler Jim will lead the mine when we sing Trelawney. We've sung that song the world around, where tin and copper may be found. The stars will hear that very sound when shining down on Sennan. At home the mines have closed their gates, and so said last year's letter. And Dreadruth town is no great shake, and Poole is not much better. but in my mind I see them still, forever climbing Camborne Hill. The stars above, the gaslights will be shining down on Senham. South Australia's been real good to cousins Jack and Jenny, and many a Cornish man can say he's made a pretty penny. But Jackie this and Jackie that, this cousin Jack would eat his hat to see the stars that even yet are shining down on Senham. In Wallaroo it's mighty fine, in Moontar and Cadena, and they remind me of the time when first I was a streamer, and when at night my eyelids close, my mind to far-off places goes. The Southern Cross its soft light glows when shining down on Senham. Thanks very much. Shining Down on Senham by Mike O'Connor, and I can never resist this. The mention of the town Wallaroo. There was a poet from Wallaroo whose verses ended at line 2. Anyway, the next song, just I mentioned that one. This is, you can keep that one. One of the greatest Australian poets was a bloke by the name of Henry Lawson. Henry Lawson was born in the 1860s and he died in the 1920s. And actually, it might do Genoa. So, he wrote some fantastic poems. He was very much into traditional music. He lived in the outback for a while, travelled around and heard the songs. And a lot of his poems have got a metre to them, which is almost, you can almost sort of make a tune up for them. And in 1900, he and his wife at the time, Bertha, decided to come across to England, try and further his career, spend 2 years here in England and try and get his words and stories. He wrote fantastic stories as well about the outback, try and get them published and moved on a bit, but things didn't really work much. And the marriage wasn't really working either. And two months before they were due to go back to Australia, Bertha headed back on her own, and Lawson followed 2 months later. And just looking at this poem, the liner that he went back to Australia on would have stopped at all the different ports going out to Australia, and one of the ports was Genoa. And just reading through the lines, he had a brief passionate affair with a young lady in Genoa. Lawson had 2 passions in his life. One of them was women and the other was beer. And he said, drinking beer makes you feel the way you ought to feel without drinking beer. Very much. Oh, a long farewell to Genoa that rises to the skies, where the barren coast of Italy, like our own coastline, lies. Oh, a sad farewell Genoa, long my heart will grieve, the only city in the world that I was loath to leave. Oh, she was fair in Genoa, she was very kind, those pale blue seeming eyes that seemed most beautifully blind, but they are sad in Genoa, why I cannot tell. I had but 3 Italian words that she knew very well. Oh, love is cheap in Genoa, love and wine is cheap, neither leaves an aching head, nor cuts the heart too deep, save when the knife goes straight, and then there's little time to grieve. The only city in the world that I was loath to leave. I've said farewell to tinted days, glorious starry nights. I've said farewell to Naples with a straight long lines of lights, but it is not for Naples but for Genoa I grieve, the only city in the world that I was loath to leave. Thanks very much. I have the greatest admiration for the Australian swagman. There's sort of iconic picture of the Australian swagman, the old blokes with their hat on and their swags and everything, just tramping out through the outback. And life became particularly hard for them in the recession in the 1920s, and a lot of blokes lost their jobs and they just headed off and try and get work in the outback on sheep stations, etc., but very hard to get any sort of work. And the government provided them with what was known as the 10-10-2.5, which was £10 of flour, £10 of beef, £2 of sugar, and half a pound of tea. And that was supposed to keep them going for the week. And the modern day swagmen, of which there are still a few, are still given the 10-10-2.5. But nowadays it's 10 minutes to get off the sheep station, a 10-yard start on the dog, 2 reasons why they shouldn't be there, and half a chance to explain. And this one is a song called Corny Bill, and Corny is meaning someone coming from Cornwall in Australia. His old clay pipe stuck in his mouth, his hat pushed to the brow, his clothes best suited for the South. I think I see him now. And when the city streets are still, sleep upon me comes. In dreams I think of me and Bill, humping of our drums. I mind the first time that I came, a stranger to this land, and I was stumbled, sick and sore, when Bill took me in hand. Old Bill was what a chap would call a friend in poverty, for he was very good to all, very kind to me. We camped beneath the lonely trees, and sit beside the glades, nursing of our weary knees, smoking of our clays. And when we journeyed far and near, the clouds was in the skies, we camped in some old shanty bar, sit a-telling lies. Though time had writ upon his brow and rubbed away his curls, he always was and maybe still a favourite with the girls. I've seen bush women scream and squall, I've heard them laugh until they could not do their work at all because of Corny Bill. Oh, Bill, he was the jolliest pop that ever you did see, and at the way at some bush gig they'd make old Bill MC. He'd make them dance and he'd make them sing, he'd make the music come, but he'd be gone by morning light, humping of his drum. There's a line in that the third verse where we'd camp in some old shanty bar and sit a-telling lies. The swaggies would always tend to meet in a late evening or so, build a fire and just sit and talk and create stories and try and outdo each other. But And this is one of those stories, but this is not a lie. This is a true story, this one. None of my lies are true. And I've heard the drovers tell their tales from Burke to Camberwell, on sandy tracks in southern states from Orbost to Arachnabeal. Some were brave and some were good and some had humour too. But all the tellers always swore that the tale they told was true. Now Paddy the dancer, a swagman of note who followed the Bidgie run, found himself on the tucker track, most of his food was gone. So he pondered a while and thought at last that as far as he could see, he'd have to catch himself a cod to grill on the coals for tea. So he rigged a line from some baler twine that he'd stole from a farmer's hay, and he made a hook from a rusty nail that had stuck in his foot that day. He gazed with pride at his fishing gear, and to try it could hardly wait, but discovered at last, as anglers do, you've to cover your hook with bait. Now he remembered a story that someone had told in a dim and distant past, that frogs were the things that anglers used for the fish to break their fast. That frogs was as scarce as teeth on hens. That's what he told to me. So he scrounged around till he found a frog at the foot of a nearby tree. Now he stalked that frog on his hands and knees, the way big hunters do. But a black snake coming the other way had the same idea in view. Both of them grabbed together, but the snake was a fraction fast. He swallowed the frog, but found himself held tight in the swagman's grasp. So he pulled from his pocket a flask he had of some very potent grog, breathed a sigh, said it must be done, I need that flaming frog, as he squeezed the wriggling reptile's neck till its jaws were open wide, and with tears in his eyes he poured that grog down into the snake's inside. It gave a gurgle, and then a gulp, and then a twist or two, and there was the frog in the light of day, almost as good as new. So he picked it up and hurried away to bait his rusty hook, and sat himself down on a grassy verge by the side of a peaceful brook. He felt a tap on his shoulder blades, and he turned with his eyes agog, and there was the snake, all bleary-eyed. In its mouth was another frog. Now that's the tale that was told to me on the camp at Reedy Flat. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You'd best be the judge of that. But the thing that I find hard to believe was that the way he liked his grog, he'd give it away to a hungry snake for the sake of a worthless frog. Thank you. Thanks very much. As I say, that is a true story, and it was told to me by the frog. I think one of the beauties of travelling around different folk clubs and seeing different people and hearing different people as well is absolutely magical. And a while ago I was in Maidenhead doing a folk club there, and a young lady by the name of Liz Weston was one of the floor singers. She got up and she sang this song that she'd just written, and she'd written it for her granddaughter, and it's just, I think, I said to her after, I said, that's such a magical song, I'd just love to learn it, could you let me sing it? And she very kindly sent me a copy of it, and this is it. It's just called Come Walk With Me. And I always say this because I think it's very important that people are writing songs, because the new songs keep the old songs alive. and the old songs keep the new songs alive. So, and all the old songs were new songs once anyway. So, just going to have a slurp. So, oops, get the top off. It's easier to drink it with the top. So, Come Walk With Me by Liz Weston. Come walk the woodland ways with me, and see the graceful birch and bright berried holly tree, the ancient oak in beech and glade, where wren and robin sing in their green and leafy shade. And underfoot in springtime, scented bluebells fill your gaze, while shy roe deer slip silently along their secret ways. I'll be there beside you as you wander hand in hand. Come walk with me and learn to love the land. Come walk in meadows by the stream, and watch the speckled trout in the dancing waters gleam. The waterfalls and tumbling gills rush sparkling to the sea from their high and lonely hills. In summer smell the honeyed heather in the sunset's glow, or try to spot the mountain Hereford white in winter snow. All this I will show you as we wander hand in hand. Come walk with me and learn to love the land. When on life's path your footsteps roam, on wandering ways that lead you far away from your own, you'll find the beauty everywhere, in seas and mountains, lakes and woods that make this earth so fair. And when with children of your own you tread familiar ways, to show them all the things you cherished since your childhood days, I'll be there beside you as you wander hand in hand, saying walk with me and learn to love the land. Come walk with me and learn to love the land.
Yay!
Thanks very much. I do apologise, I forgot the verse in that as well. I find nowadays I'm starting to forget things, which I put down to that 4-letter word age. So we'll go back to Australia now. This one has got a great refrain in this. It's got 3 different refrains, 3 different verses. First one is where the brumbies come to water at the setting of the sun. The next one is where the brumbies come to water at the rising of the moon. And the last one is where the brumbies come to water at the twinkling of the stars. And brumbies are wild horses in Australia, known by Colonel Brumby, who in the 1830s took a load of horses out to Australia because there weren't horses there, and eventually let them free, let them just run off, and they've become wild horses now, Brumbies. Like in America, wild horses are known as Mustangs, and in England, wild horses are known as wild horses, and in Scotland, wild horses are known as Glaswegians. Is there anyone from Scotland here?
No, they just
Oh,
left.
right.
Take you off in a minute.
Just a quickie before we do this. Do you know how Scotland came about? It's another true story. It was when God was making the world, and I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly. I think it was about the 6th day after he was making the world, and he was having a cup of tea with Gabriel, and Gabriel said, "What's your next project, God?" And God thought, "Well, I think I'm going to do Scotland next." And Gabriel said, "Oh, yeah, what are you going to do for Scotland?" He said, "Well, I'm going to give them a range of mountains that go from the south up to the north, and put some glens coming off the mountains, put some lochs in the glens, put some rivers there with the water good enough to make good whiskey, and I'll give them the most fantastic coastline, something that they will remember me by." And Gabriel said, hold on. He said, "Aren't you giving them a bit too much?" God said, "You wait till you see the neighbours I've given them." So, where the Brumbies come to walk. There's a lonely grave half hidden where the bluegrass droops above, a slab that roughly marks it, we planted it with love. There's a morning rank of riders closing in on every hand, o'er the vacant place he left us, he was best of all the band. Now he's lying cold and silent, with his head and hopes on one, where the Brumbies come to water at the setting of the sun. Where the Brumbies come to water at the setting of the sun. There's a well-worn saddle hanging in the harness room above, a good old stock horse waiting for the steps that never come, and his dog will lick some other hand when the wild mob swings. We'll get a slower rider to replace him on the wing. But who will kiss his wife, who kneels beside the long lagoon, where the Brumbies come to water at the rising of the moon? Where the Brumbies come to water at the rising of the moon. We will miss him in the cattle camps, trusted man and true. The daddy of old stockmen was young Rory Dog. He will miss the tunes he used to play on his banjo long and low. We'll miss the songs he used to sing of the days of long ago, where the shadow line lies broken neath the moonbeam silver bars, where the brumbies come to water at the twinkling of the stars, where the brumbies come to water at the twinkling of the stars. Two more, yeah, okay.
Is that all right with everybody?
No, I want 5 more.
Actually, we don't know two more.
Actually, can I make a request?
How does the tune go?
Do you know that? Can you remember the Wealden Man?
The which?
The Wealden Man. That cricket.
No, I know the one with the Grey
Did you
Miles
see it?
song, Wealden Way, yeah. No, I can't remember it. Are you into cricket?
Yeah.
What's happened in the test match? We won, I think, yeah. Right, we'll do 2 more, and actually we do fairly well first. Yeah. Do this one. Iris writes the set list out after we've done the booking, because it changes. This song was collected by Ralph Vaughan Williams off a lady by the name of Mrs. Verrill, who lived at Monk's Gate, which is near Horsham, and he collected this in 1911 on Tuesday the 28th of July at 20 past 3 in the afternoon. Weather was slightly inclement. Fare thee well, my dearest dear. Fare thee well, adieu. For I must go to sea for the sake of you. Love, have a patient heart, for you must bear the smart. Since you and I must part, my turtle dove, you'll have silver and fine gold, houses and land. What more could you desire, love? Don't complain. And jewels to your hand, and maids at your command. But you must think on me while I am gone. Oh, your gold shall be as dust after you are fled. Your absence makes me lost and strikes me dead. And when that you are from, your servants I'll have none. I'd rather be alone than in company. sea was her heart's desire. She cut her lovely hair, so no mistrust was there, that she a maiden was all the while. Then from Venice we set sail, with our hearts content. Our ship would not be wrecked, away we went. From London but one day, our ship was cast away, which caused our hearts to be in deep despair. When our ship was cast away, misfortune then did frown, for I did swim to shore, but she did drown. She now lies in the deep, in everlasting sleep, which causes me to weep We'll do one more, so thanks very much. That's Mrs. Verrill's song. I was saying earlier on the station, the sheep station out in Australia, there's no alcohol allowed, which has probably changed a bit now. But in the old days with the shearing, there was absolutely no alcohol allowed. And if you were found with any sort of alcohol, you were given the sack immediately, you had no excuse. And so what the shearers did before they went off shearing for 3 weeks or so, they would, the night before they went, they'd go to the nearest pub and drink as much as they possibly could to tide them over for the 2 or 3 weeks that they'd be away shearing. And Bill the shearer had been phoned to hop the train next day. He had a shed at Mungindye, an early start in May. So he rolled his swag and he packed his port and he hurried off to bed. But not a wink of sleep he got to ease his aching head. He heard the missus snoring loud and the ticking of the clock. He heard the midnight train blow in, then the early crowing cock. At last, Bill in a stupor lay, a-dreaming now was he, all drawn for pens and loaded up, he's sure in number 3. He grabbed the missus in his sleep, then surer like a ewe. The first performance soon was done, then up the neck he flew, and as he turned a long blower, like a demon now he shore, with his mighty knee upon her, and his grip upon her jaw. As he picked her up and turned her, down the whipping side he tore. She dare not kick nor struggle, she'd seen Bill shear before. He was holding Jack the Ringer, he was leading Mick the Brute, as he called for tar, then dumped her like a hogget down the chute. As he reached to pull the lister, all excited out of gear, the electric light was shining, and all was bright and clear. Bill was gazing out the window, half awakened from his sleep. And there, upon the footpath, lay the missus in a heap. God blimey, I've had some nightmares after boozing up the trees. I've walked without no trousers to the pub across the street. But this'll take some licking, it's a tale I'll have to keep. because I dare not tell me mates I saw the missus in me sleep. And here we go. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll finish with this one. We finished shearing sheep out west of the Peru, but now it's rained 3 inches. I don't know what to do. A week ago the sand was loose, dust flew every day, but now the mud is 3 feet deep and we can't get away. I've just been talking to the boss, you all know Hector Cove. He said the bullar's 2 miles wide, cross it there's no hope. You hear a lot of people swear about the dough we make, but they forget the price of beer, all the cones we break. Why I took this job on, I just can't understand. If the bloody sheep ain't waterlogged, cows are full of sand. A man is doubled up all day, I'm blinded by his sweat. And when the evening comes around, cooped up in a mozzie net, it might have been a good job once, as old hands had their breaks. They pushed a bike from shed to shed, lived on Johnny cakes. They had more time to do the job, worked 9 hours a day, and after paying for their grub, £1 100 pay. I think I'll give this job away, I'm sick of being a greasy. I've heard about a fencing job, they tell me it's dead easy. Was merry in the heart at night with all the girls and fellas. We danced and sang until we burst the concertina's bellows. From distant Darling to the Downs, from Downs to Riverina. Has there a gum in all the West not heard a concertina? 'Twas merry round the fire at night, the long white branches o'er us. We'd sing the songs of days gone by with some good old bush chorus. Though Erin's harp may sweeter be, Scottish pipes blow keener, but sing an old bush song for me, played on the concertina. 'Twas merry in the hearth at night as the pine pot passed between us. We drowned the voice of the stormy night with some good old bush chorus. Though troubles drift along the years, the pangs of pain grow keener. My heart is gladdened when I hear that good old concertina.
Beautifully. Before we have a couple of speeches,
Actually, that young girl, I'll sing her. No, we haven't got time. I was going to sing her a song. She's gone. Have we got time to do it? Is she going to come back?
You want me to drag her back?
No, she probably won't. I'll sing it and then we'll do one. This is. There was a little sparrow and he was out of work. So he humped his bluey on his back and he set out for Burke. He walked till he had bunions, then thought he would inquire, and found that he had only reached as far as never tire. He was so tired and hungry he could hardly drag a leg, when suddenly beside the track he found an emu's egg. So he popped it in his billy can to cook it for his tea, and by his Waterbury watch he counted minutes 3. Now when the minutes 3 were up, he thought it time to stop. So he took his little tomahawk and he cut off the top. 'Twas a pity that he boiled it, 'twould have been much better fried. For when he stooped to sip it up, he tumbled down inside. And when he fell inside the egg, he to his sorrow found 3 minutes wasn't long enough, so the poor little chap got drowned. The moral of the story is, if an emu's egg you seek for supper, always take great care to boil them for a week. Children's song, just for you, young lady. So there you go. So we'll finish up with this one. Sorry to drag you back. This one goes back many years for me. It's a song I learned off a bloke by the name of David Lumsden. And David Lumsden was part of the Lumsden family, a very important family in Victoria in Australia, because Kath and Arthur, Dave's parents, went out and collected songs from some of the old singers. And we owe them a great debt, because if people hadn't gone out and collected these songs, they would have been lost forever and we'd never had the joy of them. And this particular song is called Gentle Annie, and someone actually has requested this. So, and it's always a great honour to have a request. I had a bloke in Australia once came up to me and said, "Do you do requests?" And I said, "Yeah, what would you like?" And he thought for a while and he said, Oh, you choose. And I've been puzzling over that ever since. And the Annie, Gentle Annie, the Annie referred to in this was actually David Lumsden's grandmother, Cat Lumsden, David's mother, her mother. And she lived up in the Riverina area, which borders New South Wales and Victoria. And as a little girl, her parents owned a hotel there, and a lot of the seasonal workers would come through, the shearers, the harvest pickers, the fruit pickers, etc. would come through, and they all adopted this little Annie, 8-year-old Annie, as a sort of mascot, and they'd sing this song to her as a farewell. But I've been told that originally it is a Stephen Foster song. Stephen Foster, American songwriter, way down upon the Swanee River, those sort of songs. He wrote a song called Gentle Annie, this is a parody on it. But an Irish bloke came up to me a while ago and he said that song, Gentle Annie, that tune is an Irish tune. Well, the Irish claim every song ever written or every tune is an Irish tune, but he was right. It's a Gaelic tune called I Can't Live Without You anymore. So I'm very puzzled about it. And if someone comes up to me and says that Gentle Annie was originally a Swiss sea shanty, I won't believe it. So we'll finish with this one. And thank you so much. It's been a real joy. And it's been such a joy to be with Iris. Thank you. Now the harvest time's come, gentle Annie, and your wild oats are all scattered round the field. You'll be anxious to know, gentle Annie, how your little crop of oats is going to yield. Now your mutton's very sweet, gentle Annie, and I'm sure it can be packed in New South Wales. And you'd better put a fence round those cabbage, or they'll all get eaten up by the snails. And you'll take my advice, gentle Annie, and you better watch old Chaffee going away with his pack bag hung over his saddle. And he stole some knives and forks the other day. Now the bullocks, they are yoked, gentle Annie, and you know with you I can no longer stay. So I'll bid you farewell, gentle Annie, and we'll meet you on another threshing day. I will say farewell, gentle Annie, for you know you I can no longer stay. Yes, I'll bid you adieu, gentle Annie. You're the little dark-eyed girl that I adore. Drinks on the house.
I love that song. It's silly. Used to hear it when you stand up. Now I have to do it. I'm going to introduce Steve, who's from the Get the Right Lifeboat, the pet.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm sure most of you are aware that the Pet Level Independent Rescue Boat is independent. We don't receive any money from the RLI or government sponsorship. So all the money that you've raised tonight, which I believe is 177,
170.
is very, very much.
So thank you, everybody.
Just to give you an idea, we got called out on Thursday night to a ship that, well, a sailing vessel that had got its prop and tiller fouled, and we had to tow it back to Rye. In that journey, which took us about an hour, we used 70 pounds worth of fuel. So, that 177 pounds is going to go a long way to help us fill the boat back up again. Do you want me to shout more?
Yes.
Right, sorry. You can't hear me.
Then you're on the boat.
What?
Yeah.
Pretend you're Claire's.
Yeah, that's better.
Do you want a mic?
No, I can shout more. But as I say, we are totally independent down at Pet Level, and thank you very much for the opportunity that you've given us tonight. It's been very enjoyable. Yes. Being filmed, which is always annoying.
Only photograph.
Only a photograph. But thanks very much, and I hope you've had a
So we're going
fantastic
to
evening.
make the draw. And where's Margaret with the hat?
Well, Adam, are you doing the draw? Yeah, no, you can
He's
do
only
it.
got one leg.
He's only got
Where's Margaret? Where's Margaret?
Oh,
Margie. Yeah. I might do it.
Anything but Margaret. Right. So
And Adam, you might know Adam, he's our chairman. He was responding to a shout 2 weeks ago and broke tore his skin. Oh yeah, round of applause for Adam.
So the winning ticket is.
Is it just the one? Two.
it's number 17 on the, is that yellow?
that's yellow.
17 on the yellow.
17 on the yellow.
Oh, look at
Have you got a name for it?
Anybody?
I don't know.
Anybody 17 on the yellow?
Maybe somebody from last week.
Somebody from last week, maybe.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll be in touch. We've got a number on the back.
Yeah. I'll give them a call.
We'll give them a call.
Tomorrow.
So sorry, everybody, that's missed out this evening.
But we've got Martyn's picture.
What's the phone?
One more, Martyn's picture.
Right, this is for the 2-week holiday in Mauritius. It's number 102.
What
In
colour?
yellow. Oh, that's mine then. I've got Mauritius. See you later.
Okay, well, we'll call these numbers and tell them they've won. Thank you very much.
So just before you buzz off, I'd just like a word of thank you for the performers.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So also I'd like to say thank you very much for all those that supported this endeavour. Bill and I, Bill Pocock and I. It's been quite a labour of love, I can tell you. We won't go into that. And I'd also like to thank Olivia and Henry for allowing us to commemorate this wonderful folk club that existed here back in the 1970s. It's an age thing, it's a great thing. So thank you very much for supporting us. It's been a fantastic evening, and a fantastic two evenings. We would like to thank also Paul Downs that came down last week. Yeah. And once again, thank you for our performance. And also, this wouldn't have happened had we not had Ian Dobson.
Yes.
We've got the PA sorted out and all the posters. Thank you for Karen. John Towner's wife. Karen. Without their help, this would have been so much more difficult. So I'd like a big thank you. Looking around to everybody, I'd like to thank you for your support because this has been really important. And I'd also like to plug the Fairlight History Group because this all started with the Fairlight History Group. And if you want to become a member, we have application forms here. So thank you.
And the article of the Fairlight.
And the article of the Fairlight News.
And one last thing. If you want to take Martyn home with you, you can do it. But
CDs for
it will
sale.
be in the shape of a flat piece of round plastic. Which you will have yourself.
And we've got some Martyn Wyndham-Read artwork here for sale if you fancy it, and CDs as well. If you like to listen. Great, thank you.
Yes, thank you.